Hi, well, yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Your latest single, Gasoline, it's been out for about a week now. So, how's
Uh,
it feeling? What's the reaction been like?
it's been pretty crazy, I would say. We haven't released anything in a couple of years, and it was definitely, I guess, when we started the band, we were all in different bands that we were kind of taking more seriously, and then this band was the fun, hardcore band that we always wanted to do, but we just like a lot of our jokes, our songs were pretty jokey back in the day, and then yeah, so we kind of went away and recorded a huge amount of music, and put a lot more effort into it, and we didn't really know how it was going to be received, but it's yeah, people seem to really like it. It's definitely the best we've ever felt about a song, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm curious what made you decide to go from that frame of mind where you're like, oh, it's a bit of a joke band to we actually want to put more effort into this.
It's probably just the demos that so Joe, our guitarist, he writes majority of the music, if not all of it, and we all kind of write the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, he started sending through these demos that were just all pretty crazy. So we decided we may as well really go hard at this and book some time away and put a heap of effort into it. Um, yeah, and I guess like all of our other bands were not as busy. So it just kind of took the forefront. Yeah.
Yeah, and thinking of like your time together, I love your name. So I'm curious how that came about, the whole Dead Mall.
That was a Rory thing. Rory's our singer, and he found it. So dead malls are a thing. They're like if you go on YouTube and look up dead mall, you won't really find us. You'll find heaps of these weird videos where people sneak into these malls in America that are now deserted.
I actually saw
Um,
them yesterday, so it's perfect timing for me,
yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a heap of them in the US after COVID, and people just kind of sneak into them and take these weird POV videos. And I think there was one he showed us the one, and it just came up on the screen and just said "Dead Mall" in a cool font, and yeah, that was it. I feel like that's often the case with a lot of band names. It's when you see it in writing, that's what seals it. Yeah.
You have to film like your next music video in an abandoned mall or a dead mall, as I should say.
We were so close to doing this. There's there was one in Newcastle, and it actually got like if you look up Newcastle Dead Mall, it got a heap of coverage, but we couldn't get into it. Like it was all locked up. But it was disgusting, like really dilapidated, and then it got knocked down. So we were seconds away from doing that, but yeah, just missed it.
Sometimes that we win. So if someone searches your name, they either get some really cool music or they get, that loophole of dead malls. Either way, it's a win.
Yeah,
Or something you might
yeah.
get both. Yeah.
Especially if you write gasoline next to it. If you have the song as well, it's like a lot of people burning down malls. There's it's yeah, it doesn't really work. Our SEO is terrible, but that's all right.
Yeah, someone might think they've been catfished. They might go to your channel being like, oh, someone's gonna like, light this dead mall, but it's like, oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a bit misleading, but that's all right. A lot of band names are that it just becomes more of a challenge, you know? We got to get to the top of that Google results one day.
Yes. And you mentioned your singer briefly, but for anyone that's coming across your band and don't know you guys, can you give a bit of a rundown of who's in your band and what your roles are?
Yeah. So I'm Adam. I play bass in the band. And then Rory, he's our singer. He's also the singer of Jacob, which a lot of people who are in the emo scene in New South Wales, especially, will probably have come across at some point. And then we have Darcy Long on guitar, Joe Willis on guitar, and Brad McLean on the drums.
And how long have you guys been together for?
Um, I'd say I don't even know. We spent a lot of time kind of being together and doing nothing. So I'd say the initial ideas probably came like 2019. But there's been very long stints of everyone doing other things with their band. I'd say we've been properly pushing it the last two years, really.
Yeah, and you also had the pandemic pretty much right on that time that you guys would have started in.
Yes, so we did nothing during that time. So it started ages ago now. But yeah, it was very stagnant for a long time.
Yeah. And as you said, you spent some time last year, like you took a bit of a break, you didn't release, you were writing a lot of music. How did you know
Mhm.
when you were ready to put it at a new release again?
It's well, once we got everything done, it's we've Darcy, who's our guitarist, he works at a studio here at Sawtooth Studios, and he has his own room, which is amazing because we get to kind of go there whenever we want, but it's also terrible because we have no time constraints. So we've just added layers and layers and layers and changed things and completely changed sections. Um, Essentially just dicked around with this new batch of songs a lot. So once we were happy with it, we were like pretty keen to get it out as quick as possible, but there was a lot of, yeah, dicking around with these tracks.
I think it's so easy to do because yeah, you're
Yeah.
always finding new inspiration, new things you can add to it, but then it gets to the point where you're like, no, I actually want to put
Yeah.
something there.
And if you pay for it and you pay a lot of money for it, you want to make sure that you get your money's worth. So you kind of put more thought into it, whereas we were doing a lot of improvising and yeah, just testing out, like spending whole days testing out tones. So there's a lot that went into it, but I feel like maybe a monetary aspect where we were stressed about it might have helped at some point, I think. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, because it's not cheap to make music, and as you would know, like most people that are musicians do have other jobs as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it means that you practice as well. So that's the other thing. None of us practiced when we went in to record all of the instruments. We all barely knew our stuff. And because we just knew that we had the studio time. Whereas other bands where I've had to pay lots of money for studio time, you practice every day to make sure that you can get it done in as little takes as possible, so that you can actually get it done in the time that you've booked. So yeah, it was very handy to do that, and it meant that we could experiment a lot. But yeah, we probably need to put some more constraints on ourselves next time, I'd say.
Yeah, but it's good to see you guys back. And Gasoline is a great track. And I like that it's kind of like taken influences from an old comedy skit. So tell me more about like
Mm.
how you've translated a comedy skit into music, both lyrically and sonically.
So that was all Rory. He loves to reference stuff, and he's done that a lot through his old band. Or he's still in that band, but Jacob, he's kind of become known for it. Um, when he was at Jacob, he wrote a song called Hospital, and in that song, he was writing from the perspective of an old writer from The Simpsons. I don't know the name. There's a heap of lore behind this guy, some crazy character. But Rory just really loved doing that, kind of trying to pretending to be a different writer and writing in their style. So this time there was, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he had a segment on SNL in the early 2000s and the 90s, I believe. And it was essentially these little short uh, quotes or stories that kind of seem really wise, but they're just really stupid. And it ran for ages. And yeah, Rory just kind of took that and that's what he used for the lyrics. So the lyrics in it, if you listen to it, there's a bit of talk about revenge and a few other things, but mostly it's just like sentences that cancel themselves out and are just really stupid, which is classic for him.
And I
Yeah.
also love it because like while you mentioned that you want to take this more seriously as a band, but you
Mm.
are still kind of sticking to your roots of you are putting in more effort and taking it seriously, but still have
Yeah.
that humorous side to it as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's just not like there's some songs in this new batch we've got that are a little more serious or maybe like more politically aimed, but generally even those ones get pretty silly. It's like hard not to when we write a lot of the lyrics on the spot and in the studio. Um, and I guess because of that, it just becomes pretty absurd. It's kind of easier to work on something that's absurd with a group of people when you don't have as much of a connection to it, which it sounds like a bit of a cop out, but it kind of gives you more room for creativity when you can kind of put on a character or kind of talk from a perspective that's not like to heart for you.
Yeah.
You can really just use like your imagination and it kind of comes easier, I'd say.
And does it
Yeah.
translate the same to playing live? Like obviously you this is your music, so you know what's coming. But because it is like that fun nature as well, is there
Mm.
a moment to be played live? You just like burst out in laughter or something?
Yeah, I'd say we're trying to do that less now. We definitely because our old stuff definitely more like hardcore like more traditional hardcore stuff, I'd say. We play on a lot of bills where there's a lot of like beat down hardcore bands. And so we are the least scary band on a bill usually. And sometimes we'll spend a lot of time between tracks. Just Rory will essentially do a stand-up set between the songs, and sometimes it just doesn't go down as well as we think it's going to. So we've kind of been working on a new set and trying to create a bit more atmosphere around it, just to kind of to fit us in a little bit more. But there's always some jokes in there for sure.
Yeah, and you guys just seem like the most fun guys. Even the music video for Gasoline, it just looks like it would have
Yeah.
been the most fun to film. Do you have any favorite memories from filming that?
I'd say like like 20% of it was fun to film because it is the video is people standing in a line. So essentially the day of filming that we had was quite long and it was just heaps of standing in lines. So really, like that's the last thing anyone wants to do. But Nicola's pretty amazing. We all trust him. He's the director, and he's done everyone's videos up here in Newcastle recently, and he's doing an amazing job. So we kind of just did whatever he said, and yeah, very glad that it came out the way that it did.
Yeah, and I feel like, Aussies can really relate to even just like the irony or the fun of, I guess, standing in line. Because even like you see memes of people
Mm.
make when he's like, oh, Centrelink payday. And it's just like people all just standing in the Centrelink lines. It's very Aussie.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, and the idea is that it's kind of like a dream state that Rory's in it. It's kind of like just his absolute worst nightmare. It's being summoned to Centrelink or to court or duty or something. And the all the bureaucracy that comes with it is absolutely opposite of what he would ever want. So that's kind of the video, yeah.
And I just looks like, I don't know, you just got your band seems like the most fun guys to hang out with, where it's like music video, performing live, just rehearsals.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's always fun, I'd say. Yeah.
And yeah, it has to be. Otherwise, you hear some bands really get sick of it, but it needs to be fun for you guys to feel inspired.
I think that's the best thing about this band because I have been in bands where it's like we're still friends, but it becomes too serious or you're taking yourself a bit too seriously and everything can become not fun, I'd say. It feels like it's a job, but usually it's not making you any money, so they often stop. But this band we kind of all have our own role. We all trust each other and yeah, it's still very fun at all the time. So it's important to keep it that way, I think.
Definitely. And without giving too much away, because I know you're announcing the album like later on in the year, but what can we expect from the upcoming project?
Um, it's hard to say. I'd say it's kind of there's a bit more that's like gasoline, more on like that punky hardcore side, but we also delved into some much heavier stuff, some sort of new metal sounds, which is new for us. Um, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it until it comes. I'd say it won't be every single won't be expected, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's good always like sometimes when you don't know how to explain it, it's good because then you go into a project as a listener and you don't know what to expect. Whereas if someone
Hmm.
expects that it's this, and that, and then you might get something else from it.
We hope that's how it happens. It could be that, or it could be people listen to it and go, "What the fuck is this? Why did we do this?" So who knows? Who knows? I'm just happy for it to start. It's coming now, which is good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm curious what the hardcore scene is like in Newcastle. Is there any local bands that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, there's heaps. The new hardcore scene in Newcastle at the moment's the healthiest it's been in decades, I think. It's amazing. There's really good bands. Feel the Pain and Scorn and Splinter, all those guys they kind of have a crew called the Steel City Terror, SCT. They're sick and they're putting on a lot of shows. A lot of young people are going to them, which is also kind of new. There wasn't a huge amount of like younger people going to hardcore shows a few years ago. So yeah, it feels very exciting. Who else? Oh, and then I should shout out Darcy, our guitarist, his other band, Lamphead, which is more like an emo math rock band, but they're also really awesome.
I'm
Yeah.
curious what the change has been. So you mentioned that younger people are coming along. What do you think has inspired the change to reach a younger generation?
Speed.
Yeah.
For sure. It's yeah, pretty simple. Speed of the biggest band in alternative music at the moment, and they play shows everywhere. It's kind of what Parkway did. They're not they haven't become unattainable. Like Speed will still come and play like that. They played a 300 cap room not that long ago in Newcastle as like a charity thing. And like they're out and about and people know them, which is kind of similar to what like happened with Parkway back in the day. They used to just tour endlessly in Australia and build up an unbelievable base in Australia. And I think that's what Speed have done. Um, they've just got this huge strength of fans, and that's kind of helping out the rest of the scene. I think punk music and hardcore has become more popular because of them.
Yeah, and it's so good to see that it is reaching younger people as well, and that it,
Mm.
is still thriving, especially in Newcastle and other areas as well.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe because of Speed, it's cool to like hardcore again, which maybe it wasn't for a while. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Well, there just seems to be a fresh new energy in hardcore and punk at the moment.
I love that because it's such a good genre. So I love that it is getting the recognition it deserves, and that bands like yourselves are still able to release and get people listening to it as well.
Yeah, no, it's a very exciting time to be doing stuff, which is great.
Yeah. And this morning we kind of like put up a thing on Instagram where we're letting people submit questions as well.
All
We had
that.
one, and the question was they want to know, like, do you have plans to come to Brazil? And I was like, that might be a bit of a long term dream, but I'm just curious, like, your thoughts around touring in Brazil with your bands.
Touring Brazil will come after we leave Newcastle at some point. We've got to do proper touring in Australia first, which we will do this year. We've kind of only really done New South Wales touring, like just weekend shows, because we haven't, we've all been doing our own thing in other bands, but we've got heaps of plans for this year. So Brazil, not in 2025, I don't think, but one day we'd love to go to Brazil.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought it was cool because I was like, usually see people like, oh, when you come to Perth, when you come to Brisbane, I'm like, someone wants you guys in Brazil. That's pretty cool.
Wouldn't be surprised if the person that asks you is from Newcastle.
Probably like I'll probably
Could
like
be.
I'll give you their names, probably like one of your mates or something.
Yeah. And I'd say you never know. Yeah.
I'd
It
even
could
look to see if like you're following them or they're following you, but it
yeah.
could be a mate.
It could be another member of Deadmau5, honestly.
I'm
You
gonna
never
check now.
know.
I'm gonna see their names. Listen. PJ Pilgrim.
Yeah. PJ lives two doors up from me.
Oh, okay. So obviously he's not gonna
Yeah,
go to Brazil.
that's all right. But I shouldn't have said anything. I should have made it feel like we have fans in Brazil. That'd be
Maybe
cool.
PJ's trying to get rid of you. Maybe he's like, you guys, we've had enough of you. Just go to Brazil. Their problems.
Maybe, maybe. Who knows? Yeah.
Um,
Bloody.
Obviously, yeah, your plans are to tour Australia first before we think internationally. And that's the end of this year, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sort of as we, release everything that we've got, we'll yeah, hopefully do a tour. We probably want to do a few in between, as much as we can, but yeah, it's just all got to link up. It's really hard to get five guys to do anything with schedules, especially when we're all like either near 30s or in our 30s. So touring and playing shows becomes heaps harder. So everyone's got full-time jobs, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
tell me rockstar life, like telling your full-time work, oh, sorry, I've got to take some time off. I've got a couple of gigs to play.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. Like I work in the music industry, so not hard for me at all. But the other guys, we've got teachers in the band, so then it's a bit harder. But
Very
yeah,
hard, yeah.
we'll see how we go. Well, yeah, school holidays is probably when we'll see everyone, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The students must love that too. Imagine being like, oh yeah, my teacher's in this cool band.
I know. Well, there's so many. I know so many people in bands that work at schools. A lot of guys that, yeah, I've got. I don't know if you know Rave Tapes from Newcastle, but they're both teachers. And I always think about how it must be weird because they'll play actual raves like around the country, these huge weekends, and have a bender, and then come back and teach at a school. It's must be a crazy change, I'd say. It would be a weird balance to have, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all my questions. Was there anything that you wanted to add about the upcoming music, this latest release, or about your band that you want people to know?
No, no, nothing for now, I'd say. Just just keep your eyes peeled, I guess, for the next one. Hopefully in a couple months.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to hear it, and hopefully I get to see you guys actually perform one time too. Like I come to
Yeah.
Sydney quite regularly. I don't know. I'm assuming you plan to tour Sydney in that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be playing Sydney a fair bit, I'd say. But the NT, Darwin,
Yeah,
a lot
definitely.
harder. But it
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah, because we're trying to like we don't have enough people come up here, but given that you've already got some connections in Darwin, that should hopefully interest
Yeah,
you a bit more.
it could be sick. It could be sick. What's the hardcore scene like up there? Do you know?
It's pretty limited. Like most of the hardcore bands perform at Maybury, which is very a small venue. It's just like a nightclub. It's nothing big. But there's people that do like it because people do travel to Sydney and stuff to see it. But it'd be good if they didn't have to travel and we could have some up here.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. They just got to bring those flights down, those bastards. The
Yeah, it's
bastards.
very, very expensive.
They are very expensive, but one day it would be sick to play there for sure.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It was great
All
chatting to
good.
you, and yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to you later anyway.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Thanks so much for that,
All
bro.
right. All good. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.